There's nothing urgent that is pushing you to get on TikTok at 7 a.m. or to get on Instagram at 7 a.m. Like, just give yourself a moment to kind of detach from the world and what you think you owe the world. Hello everyone, welcome back for those who are returning and welcome for anyone who is new. I know that today's video was supposed to be a part 2 on that conversation about beauty standards and Black women in this digital age or social media age. But I just wanted to talk about time because I know that like the weather is changing and people are feeling good, and I don't know, I just want to talk about how people are wasting their time, sort of. But this is just, I don't know, my thoughts on the world right now. Does not mean that it is certainly how everyone feels or how they should feel. This is just how I feel while on my journey through capitalism. And yeah, when I say you're wasting your time, what I mean is, I think that everyone is so obsessed with not wasting their time. And by not wasting their time, I'm saying that people are so obsessed with this whole idea of productivity and, you know, being seen as someone who is not lazy or who is actively working to better their lives. But when we think about human existence, who told us that we have to you know, besides the fact that people obviously are socially conditioned to think that this life that we live right now is the life that, you know, we are supposed to live. You're supposed to go to work, go to school, abide by the laws, and, you know, just so many different things that people do to be socially acceptable. And I feel like this discussion around time has come up a lot since the pandemic started. And I also realized that a lot of people use their time differently. Some people were more productive than others. I know, speaking from experience, I was unemployed for like 6 months, and I have lived a life of trauma, point blank period. And so during that time that I had got laid off, I was scared and nervous and broke as hell, actually. But the point is that I took the time to realize that, you know, I do like doing creative things. It's something that has always made me happy. But because in my family I was known as being smart, then, you know, I wanted to do what other people wanted me to do, which was, in my family, going to school is important. I'm a first generation college student. My family is very generationally poor, and so I feel like the way that you are raised, even in like those, just the everyday dynamics of family, because no one else had did it before me and my cousin, hopefully she's watching this, Joe Meese, we did it. But I don't know, it's just tough. They just say go to college, and I didn't think about anything else. Like with my time, I didn't think about the fact that I like to write and I love music and I love art and everything like that. I just focused on, okay, if I can get a bachelor's degree, I can get a master's degree. But as I really started to understand, I just started to get a taste of what my life would be like post-college, because I did go to a predominantly white institution, but I did have a nice community of Black people that were very active when it came to on-campus activities, because a lot of us lived on campus, and even the people who didn't just were naturally into doing things. And so I feel that as I really started to get into my major, which was mental health, and my minor was criminal justice. At first, it's funny that I'm talking about time, because at first my minor was art, and then it was creative writing, and then it ended up being criminal justice, because I knew that even if I didn't get my master's in mental health, I still really needed to understand how someone who came from where I came from, which is like a urban city area and a very low income, but it's like all Black community for real. And so I don't know, I just took that time to use the education that I was already getting to kind of understand how certain systems got in place and how they are maintained today. So I know I'm kind of going off on a tangent, but I'm just bringing it back to time. Going back to 2020 and me being unemployed, the point that I was trying to make was that the concept of time just felt unreal, because all I could think was I haven't been unemployed in years, and although I felt like, wow, I'm not making a lot of money, like I'm barely getting by, like literally living paycheck to paycheck, that is pretty much what I was doing anyways up until I was laid off. So it just kind of hit me that, one, I know I have existing mental health issues that kind of sometimes affect how I make decisions, and I can be very impulsive, period. So a lot of people don't know that, but I'm really working on it. And I don't know, just having that time to sit and really like realize that although I wasn't making enough, it felt better than having nothing at all and no plan. And I actually used to braid hair, so I wasn't really doing it enough. You know, I would do it maybe like twice a week when I could have been doing it 5 days a week. So when I decided to even do it those sometimes, I just felt like, I don't know, wow, it wasn't enough. It was a waste of my time, because I was trying to give people like affordable braids, and I'm doing the braids from home. I'm providing the braiding hair. I don't drive, so I have to go get the braiding hair, and I'm charging people a $25 deposit. So I don't know, I just wasn't utilizing a lot of things, and having that time to reflect, it made me feel good. Although it was difficult. However, I also think about the things that I've always wanted to do, and how I wasted so much time telling myself that I'm unable to do it. For example, I wanted to do YouTube since like, I don't know, 2016, really, when I was still in college. But I told myself like, what am I really showing off? Because I'm poor, and every day when I get online and I watch people's stories and TikToks and YouTube videos or whatever else, it reminds me that where you are at that time can be temporary. So like for me, I'm in this time where I really want to grow. I don't know how, but I will figure it out. And I spent all of this time telling myself like, you don't have the money, you don't have anything interesting to talk about. But it could have just been my life experience. It didn't have to be anything significant. And I always feel like, well, who will listen to me? And I'll think about that for so long that I don't even think about, okay, well, people will always have something to say, but what did I do for myself that I'm actually proud of, and that, I could have spent more time on? So my biggest goal with time right now is to understand that I can't control it. So as someone with a lot of anxious thoughts, I always think about like, when will I die? Like, how will I die? Will I die happy? Will I die having done, all of these things that I want to do? But I've spent so much time thinking about the, you know, the bad things. I don't know, I just focused so much time. I wasted so much time thinking about how I wasn't good enough. And even as I'm making this video, I'm like, I have nothing significant to really discuss, except that if you want to do something, do it. Even if it's not 100% perfect, you should still try to execute it. I just want to make this point about time and how it can be wasted when you focus on things that are negative. Also, when you don't structure your time. So I'm just gonna quickly get into the point about wasting time focusing on the negative. And when I say wasting time focusing on the negative, I mean when you are at someone's birthday dinner, or you know, you're just experiencing life. And for me, I'm always that person who can't always really enjoy experiences, because I often grieve how I don't know if this will happen again, instead of like, wow, I'm glad that I'm building this new memory. I hate that things have to be memories, and I really wish that you could see people as much as you wanted to, but that's not always the reality. And so I don't know, I just want to encourage anyone who sees this video, and even myself, just to kind of remember that time is borrowed, time is not real, it's a concept, and you really have to make the most of what you have, because it's definitely not promised. And I also just want anyone who is watching to not feel guilty about the time that you do think that you have wasted. I'm trying to let go of the times where I didn't show up for people because I wasn't at my best, and I was too, I guess, embarrassed to be honest about that. And I feel like in order to be a better person, you do have to do the work of working through your relationship with time. And if you are someone struggling with your mental health, then I would say do things to kind of help you reduce the stress. And what I mean by that is I have this really bad habit of, like, you know, when you are dreading work, right? So with my job, like right now, I'm not 100% like happy, quote unquote, but I just am working on getting organized and on point. I'm currently managing a lot, and so I'll spend my whole morning, I'll waste the time I have in the morning just for myself. And I'll start to think about, oh my gosh, like I have this to do, I have that to do, I hope I don't forget. Like, oh, I have this meeting at this time. Instead of me focusing on like, wow, I woke up another day, I feel good, like let me make some tea, let me, you know, journal, let me just enjoy being in this moment. And so if you feel like you struggle with that, just know you aren't the only one. What I have been trying to do is actually just like not get on my phone like right away. That is such a bad habit for me, just because like I think sometimes, like for me, I'll use social media definitely to cope when I feel like, okay, things are kind of crazy, like I just want to, you know, take my brain somewhere else. But I also realized that like it can easily become unhealthy. Like you shouldn't even sleep with your phone in your bed. It should be off somewhere, like on a nightstand, something. Like there's nothing urgent that is pushing you to get on TikTok at 7 a.m. or to get on Instagram at 7 a.m. Like just give yourself a moment to kind of detach from the world and what you think you owe the world, and you'll figure out what you actually want to offer the world when you do that a bit more often. So I would say definitely try doing that. The other thing I wanted to talk on is really quickly is also just being productive with your time. I have seen recently over the last year or so, or maybe the last 2 years, is people going back to just time blocking things that they want to do. And time blocking works for me, but sometimes I have so much to do in a day, I don't know where to start. But I realized that by putting things in like a period of time, like for example, I start work at 10. So if I say from 10 to 11, I'm going to add stuff into whatever software system we have. That's what I'm going to do for the hour. For that hour, I'm not going to be on my phone. I'm not going to be on, you know, my TV. I'm just going to focus on that task at hand. And it's easier said than done because my attention span is horrible, but I really want to just, I don't know, I just want to execute things. I just want to be that person that makes a list and I'm just checking stuff off, because I waste a lot of time. I always have been a really big procrastinator. It just goes back to time and how we put these thoughts in our head that say, oh my gosh, this is going to take forever. Like, I could not possibly do it. And you have to replace that with, okay, this will only take this little bit of time to do. I can do it, you know, with no problem. And I think once we start shifting the way we think and everything like that, I don't know, it just flows so well into your life when you start to incorporate how you want to spend your time versus letting other things determine how you spend your time. So if you feel like you want to go hiking, you want to go outside, you want to, you know, give yourself a picnic, you want to do whatever and just disconnect, there's nothing wrong with that, because no one is promised a long time on this earth. And so I'm just trying to remember that when I decide that I don't want to do the things that I enjoy doing. I will have that longer video for you all next Friday. I just really haven't been doing so well as far as like my health and everything. And it's like honestly even a struggle to be recording this video because I'm in so much pain, but I just didn't want to miss a day because I'm doing well. And I appreciate anyone who gives me support and feedback or shares my videos. It means so much to me. I love everyone who watches this. Remember that self-discipline is self-love, and when it comes to time, you are the one who dictates your time, whether you think it or not. That's all I wanted to say, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.